To discuss it all, Betsy Woodruff now joins us, a political reporter for the Daily Beast, joining us from Washington. And Betsy, I want to get to that in a moment, but first I want to begin with the memo of which I spoke concerning the Clinton Foundation. It would appear, if nothing else, to be a rather precise implication of pay for play here. Is there fire with the smoke? Could this be more damaging perhaps than what we've seen in previous dumps?
I think this is certainly a really significant problem for both Bill Clinton himself and the Clinton Foundation. It basically lays out the way that Teneo, the consulting firm run by Doug Band, a close Clinton aide who's known as the architect of Bill Clinton's post-presidency, it lays out the way that Teneo was kind of the connecting tissue between the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton family and corporate America, major multinational corporations, in some case foreign corporations, that wanted to be connected to the Clinton Foundation for good reasons or for questionable ones. And this memo shows that Doug Band and another longtime Clinton Foundation aide, Justin Cooper, were simultaneously trying to help corporations donate to the foundation. In other words, trying to get these corporations who they consulted for to do philanthropic work, while also trying to get them to enrich Bill Clinton by hiring him to be, an advisor or a board member or what have you, basically to pay him to affiliate himself with some of these companies. It's all really questionable, and it's a big problem for the Clinton family as well as the Clinton campaign.
Well, and we saw the response of the campaign. It seemed for all the world much like the pivot by the candidate herself in the last debate. Again, something of a blanket denial, referring to Russia's looking to influence the election. Is this going to be enough, though, for the next 12 days?
I think it's probably, from a strategic perspective, I think it's probably the best the Clintons can do, because if they start responding to these emails, there are so many communications and messages that are really negative to them that if they try to take them down message by message, that's going to be the only thing they'll be able to do for the coming 12 days. That said, as a reporter, of course, I think it would be much more admirable if the Clinton campaign actually addressed the substance of these messages and actually was willing to go out and say maybe these are real, maybe they're not, and do the due diligence of verifying them. Presumably, if John Podesta still has his Gmail account, it wouldn't be that hard to figure out if these messages were doctored or not. So as a journalist, I find their approach frustrating. Strategically, though, it makes sense for them.
Again, and they as yet have not spoken to the collective authenticity of these emails in question. However, on the other side of this coin, we just heard Donald Trump in that interview once again essentially denying that Russia is behind this hack, despite the insistence of all 17 U.S. intelligence agencies that Russia is in fact responsible. Strategically, why continue to deny Russia's involvement?
Well, it doesn't benefit Trump at all to act like he knows anything particular about the nature of these hacks. For him to suggest that he has some sort of inside track on where the emails are coming from, of course, wouldn't necessarily make him look that great. And beyond that, WikiLeaks themselves has adamantly denied that they got these emails from the Russian government intelligence. It's not entirely clear where in Russia, what operators, what hackers were able to secure these emails, assuming they came from Russia. A lot of it is still very fuzzy, and the Clinton campaign's actually kind of getting ahead of its skis by suggesting that we know the exact nature of where these hacks come from. Yes, they're probably from Russia. Are they government actors? Are they from the Russian intelligence community? We're not completely sure. We're also not sure how the emails got from Russia to Julian Assange. It isn't clear. Meanwhile, the Clinton campaign has actually said that they think Donald Trump's campaign had some sort of back-channel communications with the Russian government about these hacked emails. That's a claim for which the Clinton campaign has no evidence, and which the Trump campaign has adamantly denied. I think the issue with all this is that we're focusing so much more on the hacks, which we'll understand better in a few months, than we are in the substance of the communications they've shown. And it's understandable, but the emails themselves are really interesting, and they deserve attention.
As we look at the state then of this race, again, 12 days out, also, there's been talk of rigged elections, the rigged process, and now we see some perhaps talk and evidence of voter suppression efforts by the Trump campaign. In the past, we see a senior Trump official, in fact, telling Bloomberg that there are, and I quote, 3 major voter suppression operations underway, end quote. They are targeting 3 major voting groups: idealistic white liberals, young women, and African Americans. Again, if only on its face, awfully damning stuff here. What's your reaction?
Well, that senior Trump campaign official is not the sharpest crayon in the crayon box, because what they're talking about isn't actually voter suppression. Voter suppression is pretty illegal. You can't actually try to bully people into not voting. What this aide was talking about is trying to lower the excitement level among Clinton supporters. You're allowed to do that. I mean, it's not necessarily the most admirable or brave tactic. The Trump campaign isn't covering itself in glory here. But if you want to run negative ads against a candidate to try to make his or her supporters less enthused, it's a free country. The First Amendment protects your right to do that. The fact that this campaign official used the term voter suppression was just not a particularly intelligent thing to do.
Yeah, certainly took the dialogue to a curious place, if nothing else. Now, Donald Trump campaigning in Ohio today. Hillary Clinton will be in North Carolina, and very markedly at her side will be the First Lady, Michelle Obama, as more polling places, I should mention, open in that state. This has been an emphasis of the Clinton campaign for months upon months now, early voting. What does it say then that this day was the choice made to have Michelle Obama as effective a surrogate as we've seen for Hillary Clinton to this point, campaigning at Clinton's side and in North Carolina?
Well, North Carolina has become one of the most important states in this cycle. In some ways, it's kind of the new Virginia. As we've seen Virginia become more and more blue over the past few presidential cycles, North Carolina has gone from being a red state to being very much a purple state. So it makes sense that Michelle Obama is campaigning with Hillary Clinton there. Now, we also know the Clinton campaign is concerned about African-American turnout. And as we just discussed, the Trump campaign is hoping that they can discourage African-American voters from voting. The fact that Michelle Obama, the first African-American First Lady, is there campaigning obviously gives the Clinton campaign a massive leg up and a massive strategic tool to boost excitement among African-American voters, who are a sizable part of the North Carolina population. Meanwhile, Trump, of course, is campaigning in Ohio, that has a lower African-American population than the country does as a whole. He's done better in that state than in a number of other swing states. So both campaigns seem to be making pretty reasonable decisions here. I'm sure that Kellyanne Conway and the rest of the Trump campaign staff are happy that Trump's hotel responsibilities are done and that he can get back on the trail.
Certainly. That is certainly inarguable. Daily Beast, Betsy Woodruff. As always, Betsy, we appreciate the time.
Sure thing.